Every time I see a video of someone fly fishing, it looks so stunning. For those who don't know, a fly fisher or an angler uses an artificial lure called a fly that's usually designed to look like an insect local to the area. Standing knee-deep in a babbling river, the angler casts their line almost in slow motion. Their fly lands so delicately on the water, you can barely see it. Then the wait begins. The fly fisher manipulates their line, making the fly dance on the surface of the river to attract whatever fish might be swimming below. Fly fisherwoman Shyanne Orvis knows this dance well. She's a guide and content creator based in Carbondale, Colorado. Cheyenne's career has allowed her to spend time traveling and connecting with nature, which in turn has inspired her approach to motherhood. These days, Shyanne is sharing her passion for fly fishing with people from all walks of life, and she's inviting more women in particular to join her by the water. I'm Shelby Stanger, and this is Wild Ideas Worth Living, an REI Co-op Studios production presented by Capital One and the REI Co-op MasterCard. Shyanne Orvis, welcome to Wild Ideas Worth Living. I'm really excited to speak to you. You are our first fly fisher woman on this podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me, Shelby. I appreciate it. I'm very honored to be here.
How did you get into fishing?
I got into fishing when I was a little girl. My family is full of conventional spin fishermen. So that's like think like big bobber, lake fishing, worms and leeches, standing at the end of the dock, kind of waiting for something to happen. And as I got a little bit older, I was more exposed to fly fishing and then just kind of fell in love with it because it was like everything opposite of conventional. It's more intuitive. It's more connected with the river and the bugs and the fish, and you're spotting the fish that you're targeting. And it was just so much more like intriguing to me.
It sounds really fun. I'm curious though, like when you grew up, were you always outdoorsy? You said your family fished, but like, it's interesting that you picked fishing. Like a lot of people could have chosen soccer or chess or I don't know, but you chose fishing. And It's not something a lot of young women chose at a young age.
Well, I love all the things. So I think as a little girl, I grew up in a trailer park in poverty in Flint, Michigan. So it's not like we had a lot of access to the outdoors other than fishing. But I was always willing to like try anything. So if a friend skateboarded, I would skateboard, or one of my friends rode dirt bikes, like anything that I was willing to try, like I loved doing. And I'd spent a lot of my time in the woods building forts and lighting fires and doing all the things I probably shouldn't be doing. But it was like my way of escaping kind of home life and all the struggles and uncomfortabilities that came with it. And I think that just kind of forever stuck with me. And then as I moved through adulthood and my teen years, I just would do anything that kind of kept me grounded and gave me space to sit with myself.
Okay, I don't know too much about Flint, Michigan, besides like an old Michael Moore documentary.
Did you hear of like the Flint water crisis?
Yeah, of course.
Polluted with lead. Definitely like struggles with poverty. Most people are low income households. Most people work in a factory. My mom worked in a factory as a little girl.
How did you leave?
I lived with my sister at the time. I think I was like 17, and I moved around a lot as a little girl. My mom struggled with addiction, and my dad kind of left when I was pretty young. And my sister's 11 years older than I. So she kind of fell into this like taking care of me, this like mother role when I was little. And she's like, well, what's your direction? What are you going to do? And a friend of mine had told me about this opportunity as a lift operator in Aspen.
Yes.
And I was
this.
like, okay, a lift operator, $12 an hour. They provide housing. I didn't have a car, and the public transportation in Aspen Valley was amazing. I had no concept of what Aspen was like. I cannot believe I was 17 and went from trailer park living to Aspen. So if you know anything about Aspen, it's one of the wealthiest cities in the world.
And most beautiful.
Oh yeah. And I like remember getting off the bus with my like backpack and be like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like it. Yeah, it's stunning. It's beautiful. And the access to the outdoors and the people were so amazing. And it makes sense as to why I never left.
While Aspen was beautiful and full of things to do, Shyanne quickly learned that $12 an hour operating ski lifts was not enough money to live there. She started taking on odd jobs to keep herself afloat. Even though she didn't have a lot of free time, Shyanne went snowboarding and skateboarding when she wasn't working. Some friends also introduced her to fly fishing, and it quickly became her favorite pastime. I don't know anything about fly fishing. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend like I know any. I've never done it in my entire life. What's the biggest difference between fly fishing and conventional fishing? Like, give me a quick, Cliff Notes version tutorial of what fly fishing is. How is it different? What gear do you use? When do you go? Where do you go? Take me in your world.
Well, I'm going to do the best I can in response to that question, but I don't know a lot about conventional. I left it the minute I left home when I was 12, I never touched a spinning rod again. But I just think fly fishing is so grounding and it's such an art. Whereas when I think of conventional, I remember the last time I conventional fished, I was in Alaska and we were on a offshore boat and I fell asleep. I slept the entire time on the boat because it was rocking in the waves and it was just so calming that I guess I just took a nap. But it just seems so much more slower paced and just so vastly different. Whereas when you're fly fishing, whether you're fishing the ocean or you're fishing in the jungle or you're fishing on the river, you have those moments of intensity where you're watching 120-pound tarpon rolling and turn and chase your fly, which is so exhilarating. This tiny artificial fly that doesn't smell like anything. It's not alive. And you're tricking this massive species to eat it. And then once it's on, the biggest difference with conventional is conventional, you hook into a fish and you're just cranking on them. You're just bringing them in.
You're reeling it in.
You're just reeling it in. Yep. With fly fishing, there's such a finesse to it because you're not doing that. Otherwise, you'll break your leader.
A leader?
It's a clear piece of string that's essentially attached to your fly line, and it's clear so that the fish don't see it and they don't get spooked.
And it sounds like you're moving it around to act like you're live.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A lot of it is in the motion. So you're manipulating the fly line to mimic whatever pattern you have at the end. So if it's a fly, it's got to look like it would be a fly on the river, right? Or if it's a shrimp, it's got to move the way a shrimp would. So it's you're reading the fish's behavior. You have to change your speed or you got to pause. You have to watch what the fish is doing and then alter what you're doing. You're so connected. It's you have to be a part of the process. You're not just sitting in one spot. So as I'm on the river, I'm walking upstream and I'm looking around rocks or logs and I'm trying to look for the fish that I want to target. And then I'm looking at the bugs in the air and I'm okay, well, this is what they're eating right now. Here's what's hatching. Here's what I should put on. And I'll tie on these little artificial flies and hopefully trick them to eat. So a lot of things going on.
When Shyanne is fishing, it's almost like she's playing a game. She tugs on her fishing line to make her artificial fly move like real prey, whether that means fast, sudden movements or letting it sit on the top of the water for a few seconds. It's like she's a puppeteer for her fly. Once Shyanne hooks a fish, the fight is on. As the fish tries to swim downstream, Shyanne has to keep it on her line while waiting for the right moment to reel it in. In the end, she scoops the fish up in a net to get a closer look and then releases it back into the water. Take me to a perfect day on the water. What are you doing? Where are you? What gear do you have? What does it feel like?
So my perfect day would be walking the beach along some crystal clear flats, and there would just be tailing permit everywhere, and they're all willing to eat my fly.
What's a permit?
A permit is Folks, I think it's something you guys got to Google. It's a species.
Okay, so it's fish.
So it's a fish. Yeah.
It's a beautiful fish.
Anything I'm talking about is fish. Every permit I cast to follows my fly, eats my fly, and then they'll probably take off. And I've got to be able to hook into them. And I'm going to keep my hand off of my reel and just let them run. And the minute there's slack and that line, and that fish isn't just hauling ass away from me, or I feel him pause, I have to reel when he's not running and then back off when he is. And then hopefully I land the fish.
Paying attention to details like the bugs and the flow of the water grounded Shyanne in a way she'd never experienced with other sports. After getting a few fly fishing sessions under her belt, she realized she wanted to spend as much time as she could on the water. Luckily, Aspen is a hub for fly fishing, and it didn't take long for Shyanne to realize she could make money by teaching people the sport. When she was 19, she took a job at a local fly shop and quickly moved into the guiding world. What was guiding like? I mean, you were pretty young.
I was young. I think if I look back, I've always had a strong personality, which I think is great in a male-dominated space. I think if I was timid or like hesitant and more reserved, it would have been challenging for someone, majority of people going out fishing at the time were men. For men to be like, oh, I don't want her as my fishing guide. She doesn't know anything. But I think my strong disposition kind of pretty quickly, like, puts them in their place in a way. Like, oh no, I'm confident. I know my shit. Like, we're going to go and we're going to have a great time. And I'm going to show you where the fish are. And it's your job to do the rest. And that's, I think, served me a lot in being a good guide in a way, like connecting with people and being able to take them into remote, challenging places and them trusting me along the way. But I was naive. Like, I had a lot to learn, and being exposed to people who can afford to hire a guide for $700 a day, like, that was my school. Like, getting to be on the river and meet CEOs and entrepreneurs and people in the finance world and people who are doctors, and then hearing like what they wish they would have done differently in life. Because that's the one thing I think I love is I love conversation. I love hearing people's stories. And I wasn't afraid to like ask kind of uncomfortable questions. And it was just the best way to like learn for me, was to like learn through other people's experiences and journeys.
It's so cool because this year we've interviewed so many guides and we all share really similar stories. Started really young and got access to this demographic of people that we wouldn't normally get access to in a setting where we were the experts. And you told me you grew up in a trailer park in Flint, Michigan, and you're having access to these CEOs who have $1 million houses in Aspen. So it's probably like weird, and also at the same time, like it is what it is, and you take what you like and you leave the rest, and it probably opens your world a little bit, and maybe it opens theirs too.
Oh, yeah. I think it's mutual. I don't know. I think in that setting, an opportunity for them to be vulnerable, because sometimes I'm asking not just like, do you have any advice for growing my career? It's like, how did you get in that journey? And like, how did you start that career? And like, what came at the cost of being a CEO or a millionaire, billionaire? Like, is there anything you would have done differently? And like, a lot of people, not a lot of them, I'm not like making people cry every time I'm going on a guided fishing trip, but there's been so many moments where we're sitting on the tailgate of the truck or we're in the river and like people are getting kind of emotional about like their life and what they would have done different. And that's like the biggest takeaway I've ever experienced was like, I want to be successful and I want to financially support myself, but not at the cost of my relationships and my friendships and my happiness. And I don't know if I would have known all of those things had I not met people who learned all of that the hard way.
It's really interesting. You know, at a young age, even in Aspen, like I still don't understand. You could have gravitated towards being a skier or a snowboarder or an ultra runner or a hiker, like all these things. But you chose fly fishing. And you're a woman. There's not many female fly fishermen. I have a friend who's actually like fly fishes for mako sharks. Like she's total badass. Her husband though was a fisherman, and like that's how she got into it. I'm just curious, like how you chose fly fishing over all these other things you could have done in Aspen when you got there.
I mean, realistically though, like I wasn't going to be able to become a pro skateboarder or like create a career around it. And I think for me, it was like I knew when I was like 19 and I started guiding, I could just like see my life unfold and like this vision essentially. And it was like I just knew in my heart, no matter what anybody said, I was on the right path because I could see there wasn't a lot of women in this space and there wasn't women telling their story. There was only one way to do things. And I just was like, whoa, that's crazy to me. Like women deserve to be here. We deserve to be kind of girly. Like I would wear a bandana fishing and a tank top. And like that was crazy. Like because I was only supposed to look a certain type of way. And there were a lot of women who did this in the fishing space. There were a lot of women who showed up and paved a path for me to be able to create my own path. But it was just so many barriers for women in the space and not a lot of women doing things, not a lot of anglers doing things differently. So I think almost instinctually when I was 19, I was like, I see what I'm supposed to do here. Like I can see how I can impact and change and inspire other women to like go out and do the shit and do it different and like be ourselves.
It's that time of year again. REI's anniversary sale is May 16th through the 26th, and members with the REI Co-op MasterCard can earn rewards while they save. In fact, the card is the only way to earn rewards during the sale, and you can use those card rewards as soon as you earn them. Don't have a card yet? See if you're pre-approved for the REI Co-op MasterCard with no risk to your credit score. To learn more about the REI Co-op MasterCard program, go to rei.com/MasterCard-podcast. That's rei.com/MasterCard-podcast. Terms apply. Hey, Wild Ideas adventurers. If you're looking to elevate your trail running game, you need to check out Teva's Aventrail family at REI. Whether you prefer the airiness of a sandal or the support of a shoe, Aventrail has you covered. The Aventrail sandal combines the freedom of a sandal with the comfort and technical benefits of a trail running shoe. With its secure W strapping system made from 100% recycled materials, tiered lugs for confidence on technical terrain, and cushion hypercomf midsole technology, you'll feel like you're running on air. For those who prefer a more traditional trail running shoe, the Aventrail shoe offers a laceless design for easy on and off, along with the same great features as the sandal. It's perfect for tackling off-road adventures with confidence. Johnny and I have been taking our Tevas on adventures for decades, and I personally can't wait to try the Aventrail sandals on my local hikes and trail runs in San Diego this summer. They're the perfect blend of comfort, support, and breathability. Head into your local REI or to rei.com to check out Teva's Aventrail shoes today. Hey, Wild Ideas listeners, I've got some exciting news to share. Wild Ideas is heading to Denver, Colorado with the REI crew from May 29th through June 1st for the Outside Festival. It's going to be an incredible weekend filled with good music, delicious food, outdoor activities, and inspiring conversations with some of the biggest names in the outdoor space. I'll be interviewing guests live on the Ideas stage and our very own Wild Ideas stage in REI's Camp Co-op. If you're at the festival, come by and say hi. And here's a special request. On Saturday, May 31st, I'll be interviewing professional climber Alex Honnold, and I want to ask him questions from our Wild Ideas listeners. If you have any questions for Alex, email them to podcasts@rei.com, and yours might be featured during the interview. That's podcasts@rei.com. Don't miss out on this amazing event. Grab your tickets today. We'll include a link in the show notes, and I'll see you in Denver. Shyanne Orvis is a fly fishing guide who's passionate about conservation and getting more women involved in the sport. Beyond guiding, Shyanne shares fishing tips and videos about her adventures on social media. She's also written a children's book inspired by her son, Coulter. I'm always curious about how folks manage to turn their passions and hobbies into a career. And Shyanne's success as a young woman in the fly fishing industry is impressive. You know, it's always interesting when we chase these wild ideas, it doesn't always line up financially. But somehow you've made a living pursuing your wild idea as a fly fisher woman, and you have sponsors and you lead trips, and I'm just curious how you make it all work.
I think that goes hand in hand with a little bit of like my strong disposition and knowing what it's like to be poor. I'm okay living in the gray zone. So I think, I don't know if I'll ever be like financially comfortable per se, because anytime I make money, I just go and travel with it. But I do a lot of like hosting trips around the world and taking other people on these experiences. A lot of them are like women specific or co-ed, and we'll go to Mexico is like a great place for people to really get into saltwater fishing. And we'll stay at a fly fishing lodge and I just kind of guide the experience. I make sure they have the right gear, that they have the right knowledge before they go out on the boat. They have the right expectations, maintain the stoke and the excitement around all of the experience. But it's cool because I get to bring all these people together and it just creates so many new friendships. And especially for women, you know, there's not a lot of women in the space, and it gives us an opportunity to come together and to fish together and like connect with one another. It's such an empowering feeling. I walk away from every time I go on these trips just feeling like so inspired.
Are you also the fun captain that takes them dancing at night?
Oh, absolutely. But I don't know if I have any advice for anybody looking to be wealthy in the outdoor space per se, especially with like the life we're living. But I get to do what I love, and I get to travel, and I get to fish, got a roof over my head, and I am more than enough. And I know what it's like to have nothing, so I don't really need much. I've got my friends and the gear that I need to go fishing. And what I will say is like the partnerships, I'm so unbelievably grateful for being able to utilize social media to create content and to be able to tell my story and my journey, and that it's resonated with other people, because it does give me an opportunity for these brands to support what I'm doing in a financial way that allows me to spend time on the river, that allows me to not just guide and make a living from that, but to go and travel and to go on trips with my son. And I think there's a lot of benefit that comes from the partnerships. And a lot of times people are like, how do I get partnerships? And my advice on that would be to be different and to be you. Like, especially in the fly fishing space, there's kind of this stigma that it's like, oh, I'm a guide. I've been doing this for 30 years. How come no one's giving me money? And I'm like, well, what are you doing that's different than all the other 500 fishing guides? Like, why should they support you and what you're doing? Like, are you giving back? Are you volunteering? Did you start something that's impactful? Like, are you creating content that's educational or exciting? Like, what can you offer that makes you a really valuable asset for them to want to support?
In addition to posting beautiful videos about fly fishing in Colorado, Shyanne documents her travels to places like Argentina and Mexico. She also posts about preserving the places and the species she loves. Fly fishing wouldn't be possible without flourishing fish populations, which is why Shyanne mostly practices catch and release. It's important to her that we protect the earth for future generations, which of course includes her 2-year-old son, Coulter. You have so much time on the water to think. And it is like a skillful sport. What has fly fishing taught you over the years?
Man, fly fishing has taught me everything. It's taught me patience. It's taught me how to be connected with nature and our resources. I think what's really cool is watching how it's like transformed motherhood for me. So like now as a mom, I feel like I'm really patient. I'm not really reactive. It takes a lot for me to get triggered or upset. I'm like, oh, like that makes sense. Like, no worries, buddy. Like, let's talk about it. Or when we're on the river, like just going at his own pace and not rushing anything. If you rush anything in fly fishing, you're not going to catch any fish. You're not going to be in tune with nature. So I feel like it's created this opportunity for me to be a really present mother and just like really in tune with what he needs. And like, if he's not enjoying fishing, then we just pack up and we go, or we like pivot and we look at bugs or birds or make a game or throw rocks in the water. So just not forcing anything.
I love that. I want to talk more about Coulter. He sounds super cute. So how old is he?
He's 2.5.
Has he ever caught a fish?
Oh, yeah. His first fish was at like 2 weeks old. I don't know if we can count it, right? Because technically I'm catching the fish. But he's 2.5. We probably go fishing like minimum once a week. In the summer, like every day. We spend a lot of time on the water. So he can like reel in fish. And with my help, of course. He can net my fish. He can identify fish. I actually wrote a children's fly fishing book. And I think in that book, it's cool because it teaches kids the process of fly fishing. So it'll teach them about what we're wearing and the gear that we're using. And I started reading that to him at a really young age. So when we got to the river, he's like, waders, net, fly rod, like green drake, brown trout, river, and like all the keywords. So like, it's just so cool to watch all of that.
I also should have read that book before. I would have gotten a good education about fly fishing.
I know. I'm going to have to ship you one. Yeah, that'll be a great intro. It'll teach you everything you need to know.
Do you have any advice to parents who want to take their kids fishing or just take them to the outdoors?
Yeah, absolutely. I think give your kid patience and yourself patience because, again, you can never really control the outcome and how that day is going to go. So just giving yourself grace and being patient with however it unfolds, providing snacks and not forcing it. Like I think sometimes we want so badly for our kids to love what we do that we can kind of rush into it or overexpose them or like force the experience that on them. And if they're just like not feeling it that day, being able to be like, okay, we'll try again another time or like pivot and create a positive experience from it. So if Coulter's having a tough time, I'll just put down the fly rod and we'll look at bugs, or we'll start throwing rocks in the river, or we'll like do anything other than fishing so that when I tell him, hey baby, do you want to go fishing? He's like, yes. Cause he creates this positive association with fishing. It's not just like him crying and not wanting to fish that day. It's like a collective of all these moments. It's like looking at the fish in the net, it's throwing rocks in the river, it's going for a walk in nature.
Even if Coulter isn't the one reeling in a big fish, it's important to Shyanne to nurture his relationship with the outdoors. It took her 19 years to get into fly fishing, but Coulter certainly has a head start. If you want to keep up with Shyanne, you can follow her on Shy on the Fly on Instagram. That's SHYONTHEFLY. Wild Ideas Worth Living is part of the REI Podcast Network. It's hosted by me, Shelby Stanger, produced by Annie Fassler, Sylvia Thomas, and Sam Piers-Nitzberg of Puddle Creative. Our senior producers are Jenny Barber and Hannah Boyd. Our executive producers are Paolo Motola and Joe Crosby. As always, we love it when you follow the show, take time to rate it, and write a review wherever you listen. And remember, some of the best adventures happen when you follow your wildest ideas.